I have been on Booktube for a while now, and my growth has been going slow but steady. Being on Booktube changed my reading habits completely, and I will be going over the positive and the negative things that I've been experiencing since being part of the Booktube community. I've prepared some notes, and I want to go over the negative ones first because I want to end this video on a positive note. And first of all, I want to say that being on Booktube has been amazing, and there are in fact very little negative things. But the first one is the time that I spend preparing, editing, posting, and reflecting on my YouTube videos. It takes so much time, and I knew before I started that it would take a tremendous amount of hours in my week. But I must be honest, I didn't think it would take so much time. It also doesn't help that English isn't my first language, so it takes a lot of time for me to prepare my videos. I script everything because when I don't, I make a lot of mistakes in my English. I record my videos here in the dining room, which means that I always have to set things up and break things down afterwards, and it takes about half an hour to get everything started. Recording a video takes me about 30 minutes to 1 hour. The most time goes into my editing of the video. I know a lot of booktubers just press record, go ahead and talk to the camera and then upload it on YouTube and they're done. But that's not the way I work. Mainly because I have to do a lot of planning beforehand, and I have to really make a good script and then edit a lot. The second point is I sometimes feel the pressure to read more than I already do. Like I read 2 to 3 hours a day, sometimes more. Let me give you an example. So let's say that I have a video idea, and then I realize, okay, I need to read 10 books to create that video. This is kind of stressful because I want to get to those books as soon as possible, but I also want to read different books for different videos, and it's sometimes so hard to select what I'm going to read next because when I finish a book, I really think about what book I will be reading next, and I go through my video ideas, and based on those video ideas I will select my next reads. And when I have this video idea where I want to talk about, let's say, 5 books, I need to read those 5 books in order to make a good video. It takes so much time to read and finish a book, which is completely fine, but I sometimes feel this pressure of, come on, you should read more so you can finish this book faster and then read another one and talk about that one in your next video. The third one is a little harder to admit. I focus too much on the numbers of subscribers and my view count. I check my subscriber count every day. I check my view counts excessively. I'm trying to analyze what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. The YouTube analytics is quite excessive and detailed, and so you can really look into the analytics of every video, see where people dropped out of the video. And sometimes it's really demotivating to see these new channels pop up and immediately get thousands of views on their first video and like 5,000 subscribers in 1 month. And then I'm just sitting there and thinking, what am I doing wrong? Why didn't this work for me? And I'm constantly trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong, because I'm growing, but not as much as certain other channels are growing. Sometimes that's really exhausting. And I know I'm doing it to myself, but I cannot help it. And the thing is, I really want to do this well, and I want to, inspire people to read more, and I want to build a lovely community. I already have so many amazing people who are following me, and I just love it when you leave a comment on my video. It warms my heart, and I love that I can talk to you guys about what I'm passionate about. All right, let's go to the positive things that Booktube has done for me. First of all, I read deeper, I read better since I started creating YouTube videos because I know while I'm reading this book, I eventually am going to talk about it with you. I do not put it back on the shelf after reading it. I go over my notes, I write a review and so on. So I'm reading in a more focused way. I also reflect more while I am reading. I always have my journal next to me, or when I travel, I have it in my handbag on the train, for example. And when I finish a chapter or a certain part of the book, I will write down my thoughts and I will use the things that I've written down in my reviews. And because I'm writing things down and I'm reflecting on what I read, I kind of remember things better. I used to be this person who picked up a book, read it without writing down anything and put it back on the shelf. And a month later, I had forgotten most of what I read. Another thing that I really love is I actually talk about the book with you. I talk about what I read, and I never did that before I had a channel. Before I had this channel, I rarely talked about what I read because there was not really someone to talk to, you know? I have bookish friends, they're amazing, but they're not reading what I read. And so you can, speak about the book, but it's not the same. It's not as in-depth as what I'm doing in my videos on my channel. It's also a really comforting thing that I can always go to my channel and rewatch one of my videos if I want to refreshen my memory about a certain book, because it's, you cannot remember everything that you read. I read so much, and it's sometimes so nice to go back to my journal and reread the notes that I've taken on a certain book to refresh my memory. And it's also nice that I have this database of videos that I can rely on when I want to refreshen my memory about a book. The topmost best thing about Booktube is the community. It is so heartwarming. Everyone is so kind, so supportive, and I really, really appreciate you. I didn't know I was going to get emotional, okay? Awkward. I have met so many wonderful people, and your comments mean so much to me. I cannot talk about books in my daily life the way I talk about books to you. And the fact that some people out there are listening to what I have to say and really enjoy listening to what I have to say really means a lot. I really wish I could give you a hug through the camera, but all I can say is thank you. The next positive thing is I read more. Even more than I already did, because I feel more motivated, because I have people to talk to now that I hadn't before. And I have this wonderful community who wants to hear from me, and it feels good and it motivates me to read more. My next point is about the comment section. I love getting to know new authors, new books, things about authors that I didn't know yet. You feed me this information and I look things up and I start researching things and I'm adding books to my TBR and I'm taking your advice like a sponge. I absorb what you're giving me. And I've been learning so much through the comment section, and I love it when you leave me a comment and I can say, whoa, I didn't know that. That's really interesting. And my final point is the art of reading. Every thought you have about reading can lead to a video idea, and there's a shift in your mindset, and in every thought about reading, there's a potential video idea. For example, I've always hated the 5-star rating system. And back in the days, I thought, well, I'm just not using it and I'm not reading my books. But now, being on Booktube, I think, I don't like the 5-star rating system. What would be a good rating system? And I start reflecting on a new rating system. And I said, okay, let's create a new one just for me. Something that works for me. So yeah, more reflection on the art of reading. I recently hit 2,000 subscribers, and that really made me think about how Booktube impacted my life. I'll see you next week.